if you've done hard things, you can continue to do more hard things. Resilience isn't something you have, it's something you build one challenge at a time. And I think that for a lot of people, we forget that. Resilience is a muscle.
Martinus Evans is the founder of the Slow AF Run Club. He has one of my favorite stories in the creator economy at large. I had the opportunity to hang out with Martinus just a couple weeks ago here in Minneapolis. I'm really excited to welcome my new friend Martinus to the stage today to talk about his journey. What's up, my man?
Girl, what's up, man?
How are you, man?
I'm feeling good, feeling great. What about yourself?
Good, man. I've been looking forward to talking to you all day. I want you to tell the story of the Slow AF Run Club. And for those who don't know it first, tell us a little bit about what the Slow AF Run Club is, and then I want you to tell the genesis story, how it got started.
Yeah, so Slow AF Run Club is the premier run club. We have about 40,000 members worldwide, and our goal is to make running more accessible, running more fun, and just overall take over the world when it comes to the running industry.
Okay, so you have a 40,000 member community
Mhm.
in Slow AF Run Club, that's a couple of people. That's pretty cool. So you must have been like a pretty big like community builder when you got started with this. You must have been like a veteran. You must have been doing this for like 15, 20 years building communities like this when you got
Far
started.
from it.
Tell me how it got started.
Far from it. So let's talk about this, right? There's I would say there's two genesis when it comes to Slow AF Run Club. So the first story, I'm gonna tell you two stories, right? The first story on how I came up with the name of Slow AF Run Club. So picture this: I'm running a marathon, running New York City marathon at that, and I get heckled. Somebody looks at me, point at me, and said, "Hey, you slow as beep." I don't know if we can cuss here, but you slow AF, right? I have this big argument with him, and you know, I say a lot of couple of words that I can't say here. And when it was all said and done, I finished that race, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to create something as a big middle finger to him, right? So you have that going on.
Yeah.
On the other side of the story, you have a young man who was working at a gym,
Okay.
not just any gym, right? A person who moved across country from Boston to Silicon Valley or Boston to California, a with multiple degrees, a lot of experience, but finds himself working at a gym. And
You must have been running the gym, right? With all
no,
those degrees.
why even running a gym? I found myself working as a morning manager, but not just a morning manager, like overall, just a glorified key holder. Somebody who was responsible enough to open up this gym every day at 5 a.m.
Wow.
So peep this out. I'm literally cleaning shitty toilets at this gym. I'm the person who has the most experience, the most degrees, the most education rigor, right? But I find myself working at this gym. And during this gym, I'm ear hustling. I'm trying to figure out what my next move is going to be my best move. And at this gym, I meet this lady, and she's working out, and I'm ear hustling. And I just happened to ask her very poignant questions about this launch of a new product that they have going on. This woman was actually doing kettlebell swings. So imagine I got a little gym, I got a little push broom. I'm asking questions. She stopped in the middle of the kettlebell swings and asked me, "Why are you here?" I'm thinking she asked me like, "Why am I here?" Like in her space, asking her questions. But it was like, "No, why are you here in this space right now? Like the questions you're asking, it's way beyond somebody who should be pushing a broom at a gym." This woman ended up to be Gina being Key.
Wow.
Well, we have this conversation. I tell her my story of like, hey, just moved here from Boston. I'm a blogger. I've been blogging, not necessarily a big blogger, but blogging. I run marathons, things of that sort. And she mentions, hey, you should start a Mighty Network. And I'm like, no, not necessarily interested. And I wasn't necessarily interested at that time because I had spent my last $1,000 on a guru's plan that was supposed to help make my course and blow it up and things of that sort. And I launched the course. And that course, I 3 people signed up for it. It wasn't thousands of people. And during this course, one person dropped out, one person got injured because they didn't do anything that I asked them to do, and one person asked for a refund. So imagine you spent all this money on these gurus, you launched this course, and you have the flop of your life. So I'm telling Gina
I,
this process. Go ahead.
I've actually been there, man. We can talk about my course that I spent 3 months building and 0 people bought. So at least you got 3. Uh,
Oh,
so I've been there, man. It's painful. So I resonate with that a lot.
so I'm telling Gina this process, right? And like why I'm not necessarily interested. And she's like,
Yeah.
you should try it out, you should check it out. And she invites me to take the community design masterclass, B1. And what's amazing with this is that while she's going through the masterclass, every day afterwards, I'm in the gym asking her questions. I don't understand this, why we're doing it this way, so on and so forth. And she was like, you really should start your own mighty network. And from that moment on, I was like, you know what? I am. And I know what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the Slow AF Run Club because of this dude who told me that I did not belong on the course for the New York City Marathon. And that's what we
I love
started with.
that.
I started this thing with 0 people, yo.
0 people. Well, that's what I was going to ask next. You have 40,000 people in the community, so you must have had like a huge Instagram or like a big newsletter, a big audience to go
No,
from 0 to 40,000.
absolutely not, man. That's the
All right.
thing. Go
So
ahead.
how'd you get there? So you went. I want to hear the story. So we launched with Gina.
Uh-huh,
You met her at the gym, which, by the way, like of all the people to meet at the gym, that's probably like the best person you could have met at the gym.
uh-huh.
And then you launched this network. What happened then? What was going on from launching it out to 40,000 people? How did you get
So,
there?
so let's talk about this, right? This is the main story, right? So we launched this thing. I launched this thing with 0 people, but what I started to do was invite like some of my running friends, some of my running friends along the internet, right? I said I was a blogger, right? So I was blogging. I had this blog called 300 Pounds of Running. Some people would read it. I didn't necessarily have an email list. I had a small Instagram following, like maybe 10,000 or less than 10,000 during that time. But one of the things I did was just reach out to my personal network, these people that I met during the races, these people that I'm cool with on the social webs. And I'm like, hey, I'm creating this thing. And what I want for this thing is um, that we are able to run races and no longer be alone while running these races. So
Mm,
40 people was like, I'll bite. So we're planning races out. There's 40 people in this thing. I'm asking questions, so on and so forth. And as we are planning out our year of like what races we're gonna run, COVID happens. So imagine you get the first message of like my race got canceled. Boom.
mhm.
Next domino, my race got canceled. My race got canceled too. That race got canceled. Oh, we was gonna run that race together. That is now canceled. So now we got 40 people in this inside this community. We're sad and depressed because we got this thing called the pandemic that we have nothing, that we have like no knowledge about how long it's gonna run, so on and so forth. But also like the goal of the group was for us to get together and run races together. So I had to pivot. I had to pivot. I was like, I want to make sure that people stay interested. I also want to stay interested in running as well. So I launched a virtual race. And I remember launching this virtual race, right? And I was like, I'm gonna get medals made for this thing. And the minimum requirement was 100 medals. I remember this. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to recoup all this money back for these medals. Like, there's only 40 people in this community. Like, what am I going to do? So I put it on the blog, I put it on social media. I tell the 40 friends to like put it on their blog and social media and things of that sort. And then next thing I know, 4,000 people signed up.
4,000.
4,000.
So from 40 people on the network to 4,000 people signing up for this race.
Yes.
Wow.
Daryl, I had to get more medals.
I think
You know,
so.
problem.
I think so.
100%.
That's wild. And what do you think it was about? I mean, obviously the pandemic was a factor of that, but like you created something that people wanted to be involved in. What do you think that was, or what was your thinking, or in hindsight, what was your thinking, or what worked about that going from 40 people to 4,000 people? That's wild.
So what worked about that is that I know what people wanted. And at that time, like runners just wanted to run and runners wanted a damn medal. Like
Hmm.
that's what they want. That's what they wanted. And it's not only what they wanted, but it's also what I wanted. So
Yeah.
I'm solving a selfish need for myself, but I also know that, or now looking back, like there was also a huge population of people who also wanted that same thing, which
Yeah.
is to run their distance and get the shiny medal that they paid for or worked hard for.
Yeah. So how did that work? Just did you just basically everybody ran in their neighborhood, or how did the virtual race work?
So how the virtual race work is that you sign up, you pay the fee, and you run your distance, right? And then you submit proof. And submitting proof can be, your smartwatch, it can be an app on your phone, so on and so forth. You just have to submit proof. And once you submitted proof, I send you your medal in the mail.
It's
So it's
amazing.
just something as simple as that.
And what I love about this is like, I have a friend the other day who posted something on Instagram. He's like, you can just do stuff. And like, I think sometimes we forget that. You're like, hey, I actually want this thing. I actually know some other people that want this thing. You just did a thing. It's like
Yes,
you don't have to ask for permission. You were like, who do I talk to about doing this? You just did a thing
yes,
and it worked. And I think it's pretty amazing to see that result of like, but it all was built on the foundation of like, I really wanted this thing and I knew other people wanted this thing. And I think that that has the ability for something to go bigger than the 40-person network really quickly when we just use that as a foundation.
yes. So we did that, right? This became that thing. Round two, 10,000 people signed up for it.
Goodness.
Man, you saying goodness, but imagine having to order 10,000 medals from China and like it comes in the mail. And like not only just 10,000 medals in China, like I'm physically packing these medals and shipping these medals out to people. Like each one of these medals had either my hands on it or my wife's hands on it to like ship
Wow.
these. So from there, people just stood around.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we want more of this. We want more races, things of that sort. But also, what happened was, there were people who signed up for this thing where, like, this was their first 5K that they ever did, or like their first time even running. So it then became this thing about questions of, well, what's the best running shoes should I wear? Should I run for a distance of speed first? Should I, uh, you know, like what are the things that I need to know about running? Like what is the hidden curriculum about running that I'm missing out on that nobody's telling me?
Mm,
And my motto from the blogging days has always been never miss a handshake.
yeah.
So whenever somebody left a comment on my blog post, I will respond back. And for the people who were asked questions, I would answer every question. And people
Yeah.
just stuck around. And then from there, um, it went from that to just me saying like a sly remark of like, you know what, like I should write a book about this. And it was like, yes, you should. Like I'll buy this book, so on and so forth. And then from there, I went through the process of, you know, writing a book.
Mm. How did that like so tell me the genesis of that. So basically like you're wanting to write this book. You've now got these people who are doing these races who are part of the community.
Mhm.
Did you just like start writing it one day? Do you self-publish it? What was that whole process like?
Mm-mm. No, man. So it's funny how the universe works. So the genesis is like I slyly say I should write a book, and the universe conspires for me to write a book. And what
Yeah.
I mean by that is like it's not self-published. It's actually published by Penguin Random House. But how this came along is that I had a friend who actually wrote a book, and I was supposed to write the forward for this book. And then she was supposed to give me a couple $1,000. The couple $1,000 never came. Well, she was like, "Hey, like, this is amazing. I'm indebted to you. Like, you have a favor for me." And I used that favor. I was like, "What I want from this favor is access. I want you to open up everything and show me the process of how to get this book written." She introduced me to my agent that I have now, and I met her. I hit it off. I told the agent the idea, and I wrote my book proposal in 90 days. And after on the 92nd day, my book was in a bidding war between two
Wow.
large publishers.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So what I'm so struck by, Martinez, is just like it's just like it was all from this curiosity. It was all, and that actually was probably from a pretty hard spot to begin with. Like you weren't like, man, my life is exactly the way that I hoped it would be. It was actually from a point of loss. It was from a point of hardship. It's from a point of like being in a spot that you didn't envision yourself being. But in the midst of that hard spot, it was like the curiosity, and you kept kind of pulling the thread. And it's like, okay, first curiosity. There's this lady swinging kettlebells over here. She's saying something interesting. Like, let me pull the threads over here. Let me ask some questions. All right, I'm doing this thing. Well, the hardship then was I created this course and only 3 people bought, and one person asked for a refund, and it didn't go the way that I thought. Hardship, pandemic, hardship, and just continually pulling the thread over and over and over again. It's like there's something to me that really strikes me about like how you've responded to hardship with curiosity and how that's like led into this next vision, this next like iteration or kind of things. Like talk to me about that mindset a little bit. Like what kept you going in those moments instead of being like, I sold 3 courses, I guess I'm out, I don't want to do this anymore, or oh, pandemic's here, I guess I should just quit this community because like we can't run, we can't go to these races anymore. Like what kept you going in the midst of hitting those hardships?
Um, this is something that I'm actually trying to figure out and bottle up and sell it to the world. So I'm trying to bottle up and sell that. But what it comes down to is this. I rely on the thoughts and memories of the art of the hardships that I've already been through. I
Mhm.
have this motto as like, if you've done hard things, you can continue to do more hard things. Right? Resilience isn't something you have, it's something you build one challenge at a time.
Mm,
And I think
that's
that
good.
thank you. That's a word.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that for a lot of people, we forget that. Like you
Yeah.
just don't have resilience. Resilience is a muscle, just like reading or writing. And you have to be able to continue to have resilience every day. And I think for me, my life growing up in Detroit, things of that sort. But I think one of the things that has been extremely helpful is for me to be a runner, right? For me to go through these quote unquote failures as a runner, whether it's not, running a race at my particular speed or somebody heckling me or so on and so forth. Like those things for me are just little buckets of gold that I put in my resilience piggy bank that I can rely on and go back to whenever there's other hard things that's happening in my life.
Yeah, I mean, that's another piece of the resilience is like that dude making a comment towards you. You could have been like, "You know what? He's right, and I quit." But there's like maybe there's a chip on your shoulder, or maybe there's like you're talking about this Detroit level resilience, which you and I kind of share a little bit, like that Michigan grit. But like it's so inspiring to me. It's like a lot of people. I met a lot of people who get a comment like that from somebody, and they're like, "You know what? You're right. I quit." Or they hit the spot where they're like working, they have all the degrees and they're working the job, pushing the broom or cleaning the toilet. And they're like, you know what? I give up, or I'm just going to stick here. Or they launch the course and they're like, 3 people bought, I'm out. And I think that's just like, there's something here about the like the stick to itness, the resilience, the keep going. It's like the success came every single time the success came after you kept pushing through, even in the midst of something hard like that.
And that truthfully, that's where success is typically at.
Hmm.
Success is typically right after the failure.
Yeah.
And you gotta have the failure to what? Have the success. So And I think for a lot of people, like this is what I pretty much spend my life doing, like providing psychological safety for people to go through these failures in order to be able to get to their other side.
Yeah.
A, a metaphor that I like to use is this: strike a match. Boom, you got a little match. Your goal is to take this match and cultivate it into a raging fireball. And just like resilience, when you just start out, like this match, it can just easily go out. But as you continue to cultivate it, provide it the right fuel, add the logs in a certain space, get that little blowing thing and like blow fire into it. And the next thing you know, like you have this huge fireball.
Yeah.
And once you have that fireball, you also have momentum. You just become unstoppable. And now it doesn't matter what this guy said to me while I'm running my marathon. It doesn't matter that I moved to Silicon Valley, applied for hundreds of jobs, and landed at a gym cleaning shitty toilets for $14 an hour, right? It didn't matter that, I launched this community with 40 people and COVID happened. And I'm like, people are like, well, let's just hang it up. And me be like, no, like let's figure out what's the next thing. Because one resilience is another resilience later on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so good. You said something that I think will stick with me, which is failure might be the point where success is bred, or like where it's like the breeding ground for success. And I was just seeing something in the chat here. It's like, you know what? Like I currently feel in the failure zone. It's like, okay, you know what? People in the failure zone they don't show up for events like this. They
Mm,
don't keep pushing. They don't like seek to learn. They don't pull the thread of curiosity a little bit more and say, well, what if? And I think it's so interesting to me is like, if you were just to reframe failure as like, awesome, this might be the thing that is the step before my next success or my next understanding or my next finding is a really interesting reframe. I'm really inspired by that, Martinez. I wasn't expecting us to go that route, but it was like every single piece of success you had came after some point of hardship, or some point of failure, some point of like things not going the way that you wanted or expected them to go. So, tell me a little bit what the community looks like now. So it started out with these races. It went from 40 to 4,000 to 10,000. But what does the community look like now? What are you doing now? How do people interact day to day? Kind of paint that picture.
So we actually got some exciting things with the community. So one of the things that we also did is that we just launched a nonprofit arm for the Slogan Front Club. And with this nonprofit arm, one of the things that we're planning on doing is launching chapters all over the world.
Amazing.
So, this thing started off as a, you know, community on the app because of because of the pandemic. And now that we're a couple years after the pandemic and we've, launched this book that has sold the book has sold 30,000 copies. We have went on a 50-day book tour. We launched, worked with a lot of brands with experiential engagements and things of that sort. And I think for us, the next thing is to um, have in-person chapters, in-person chapters in every city in the world. So like
Wow.
me, like that's my big scary goal. And it's the thing that keeps me up at night. It's the thing that scares me, like when I say it. But I know like that's the thing that needs to happen next with slow infant.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so inspiring. It's like the next big thing is something that scares you. It's not a thing that is easy to understand or easy to solve for, but it's like now taking that community into all these chapters feels exciting. So are people in the community, are people engaging in the app on a daily basis, on the regular? Are you guys hosting runs together? How are people engaging in the app on the regular basis?
Oh man, so yeah, people are engaging in the community. One of the things that we do every day is called the Daily Grateful.
Okay.
So it's just something for me, like for me to be like, hey, like this is what I'm grateful for. And now it's just been like a force of habit that I cannot stop inside the community. I
Yeah.
tried to stop it. Like there have been a few times where I've like tried to like pewter off and like people will hit me up or they just start doing their own daily grateful. Then I was like, okay, like I'll do this. So every day we do a daily grateful. Um, in addition to that, people right now they meet up for races. So
Mhm.
a lot of people are saying like as we're gearing up for fall marathon season. A lot of people are, putting their name in the hat to say like, "Hey, I'm going to be at this race. Who's going to run with me? Who's going to, share a hotel with me, so on and so forth." And then we also have people who are meeting up to say, "Hey, I'm running at this place. Who want to run with me?" And like I said, people are already unofficially like meeting up at Slow and Run Club all over the world. And now what we want to do is just be able to give them the platform and um the guide rails around it, so that way they don't necessarily have to worry about like what does it look like to um have a Slow F Run Club meet up in their area, but also that we can have parity amongst all the cities as well.
That's great. That's really great. A couple of questions that are coming up is you mentioned this phrase like never missing a handshake.
Yes.
Well, I can imagine with 40,000 people in the community, that's a lot of handshakes.
Hmm.
Maybe feels like unsustainable or something that you can't scale. Like, how do you think about doing those kind of actions of like the never missing a handshake when there's 40,000 people in the community, or you have to sit down, you have to like sit down in your garage and be like, all right, we got to pack 10,000 medals. Like how do you think about like that kind of mindset at scale with people?
um I want to say it's not scalable. It's not scalable, right? And I went through tons of hand sanitizer, but I think that's the thing for me that's um like that's the secret sauce. Is just like I'm doing something that is so unscalable, but it's the thing that people expect, right? And it's the thing that people know. Like I can't get to all y'all, but I'm in the back trying.
Yeah.
So one
Yeah.
of the things that we also do, right? Like, of course, we have like moderators and things of that sort, and they are also giving out verbal handshakes. But I know like it's not scalable, and that's the thing, right? It's okay to not be scalable. Everything don't necessarily have to be scalable. Everything won't be scalable, and that's okay. And I think the motto is that people know where my heart at, and people know like what I'm trying to do when I do this thing.
Yeah.
And this thing is that I want to host the greatest party for the back of the pack people. So that way, like they know that if they come to a Martinus Evans Slow and Run Club event, somebody's gonna be there for you, or at least somebody's gonna attempt to be there for you. And not be like, oh, like we have this whole process. Like people come in and people shake their hand when they take 3 steps. And it's like, no, we family. And I ain't gonna be able to get your hand all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to fist bump, finger poke, something.
Yeah. The phrase you just said, host the greatest party for the back of the pack people.
Mhm.
Where did that come from? That feels like a very specific idea and a very like specific mantra for Slow AF.
For me, like that's how I think about my community. That's how I think about community building. Is like this is my party, and I want it to be the dope party that you're gonna go tell everybody else about this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all. Like, I grew up in Detroit, so techno, house music, having these ragers is a big thing. And it's like, oh man, Daryl, you missed out on this huge house party. You need to
Yeah.
come back. Like, you need to come. And it's like, oh, I missed out. Like, Daryl, the next time this party happens, you need to be there. And like
Yeah.
that's the model and that's the mindset that I have for Slow and Run Club. That
Yeah.
somebody's be a part of it. When they come back, like they're telling on their friends, like, yo, like you need to be there. Like you missed out. Like you
Yeah.
missed out on the greatest thing ever. And it's like, what? I did. All right, I'm gonna take off work next time.
Yeah.
And that's how I see community. That's how I wish most hosts would think about their community, is that like this is your event. It got your name on it, you stamping your name on it, and you want people to go out there and ride for you as much as you ride them for yourself.
Yeah. I think that's why the language of host is so important. And we talk about being a host, not
Mhm.
an expert or not something else. Martinez, if you were to throw a party, and I think you're a super cool guy, and I think I want to listen to things that you say, but if I came over to your house for a party and you just sat in the corner of the room and talked for 2 hours, I'd be like, dude, I gotta get out of here. This is not
Exactly.
a place that I want to be. But like the way that it becomes scalable is like you're creating the culture of that party. You're creating the culture of the party where like maybe Martinez can't shake every single hand, but like everybody else knows to shake every single hand. Or
Exactly.
like, this is the place that I want to be. This is the place that like I actually say, like, hey, I'm actually gonna take off work because I can't miss that thing. It's like we're hosting this thing that people want to be a part of, this movement, this party. And I love that framework so much more than like, with the course that you were doing before. It's like, all right, well, sit and listen to me talk for 3 hours. It's like, I think that day might be done in the creator world where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, just listen to me talk for lots of hours. Hey, come sit at the feet of the guru or come sit at the seat of the feet of the expert. It's like, no, what I want to do is I want to host a party that people actually want to show up for. That
Mhm.
they walk out of the place and they say, I got value from this because I got connection. I met people I wouldn't have met otherwise. I've learned something, whatever else it is, it might be. But it's like that visual of host is like you're the ultimate host of the Slow AF Run Club. You're the ultimate host for the people at the back of the pack. And that I think is what makes this scalable is like if Martinez was like sitting at the door and shaking everybody's hand, it'd be such a boring party. But it's like you're creating the party and the environment that everybody wants to be a part of. And that culture just drips down. It can't help.
Dude, it just broke me because I just had the vision of like, hello,
Nice to meet you. Welcome to my party.
nice to meet you. And
Have a seat and I'll talk to you shortly.
I mean, what's up? What you doing? Hub,
Yep.
hub,
Yep.
man. What's up? What's going on? How your family doing? You
Yep.
hungry? Take your shoes off there. Come on through. We got the music in the back. We got the drinks. What's going on? What do you like?
Yep. Yep.
Like that's the type of host and party that I think that has made Slow F Run Club be as successful as it is because running is such a hoity-toity, like nose up type of thing, right? Like, how fast did you run that race? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna win. Like, I'm not gonna win. So, like, why are we having these conversations about, well, this race I ran 5 seconds faster. What about you? I don't care. Like, no. And if that's what the run industry is going to be about, like, I don't want to be a part of that. So for
Yep.
me, I had to make something that's going to be more interesting. And for me, like the story is a lot more interesting. Why people run it, like the horror stories that they've been through, the stuff that makes resilience for them, right? Like I got a member, and I'm going to track now, but forget it. I got a member who ran their first half marathon. She took a wrong turn, got lost, ran 3 miles in a different direction that was not a part of the race. Her phone died. She asked somebody how to get back to the course. And the person was like, "Oh, you too far. Here's some bus fare." And she just said, "Well, we just poured love into her because, like,
Yeah.
hard. Excuse me. That shit is hard. And
Yep.
like, if we're gonna be all, oh, that's unfortunate by how fast you run. Like, no, like you don't care about that shit. Like, we care about like the actual person.
Yep.
And I just wish more people had that mindset.
Yep. And what I love about this, Martinez, is like you are like drawing people like you and you're attracting people like you.
Yeah.
And what I don't mean is like, like the old school way of thinking about this is like, okay, so I'm creating a community for people of color who are 300 plus pounds, who are wanting to run marathons. It's like such a weird way of thinking about your people, right? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, that is so like narrowly thinking, but it's like, what you've done is like there are a group of people who want to run and want to have fun and want to be a part of a community that aren't like tapping their watch at every single split. They're like in it to have fun. They're in it to be a part of a community. They want to do it for the exact reasons they're talking about. Like they want to be a part of the greatest party at the back of the pack.
Exactly.
Like that's your people. And so it's like you didn't have to become a running expert. Awesome check. You didn't have to be so narrow to be like, all right, it's men in their 30s and 40s of this particular race and this particular age and this particular weight. And like, that's so weird. It's like inclusive of the people who are a part of this transition. And the transition might be, I want to run without the judgment, without the intensity, without everything else. Like, this is who I want to become. And I want to be a part of that transition. And it's inclusive and it's a party that I want to be a part of. And I think that's such an interesting way of thinking about it versus the old school way of like, this sex and this age and this race and this is weight class, like whatever. It's such a weird way of thinking about business. It's kind of like it's like a cattle call sheet. It's like, well, this
Yeah.
particular breed and this particular, it's like so weird. And what I love about what you're doing here is it's hitting all of the marks of what we know to be true about the best communities inside of Mighty. It's people in a transition. It's being a host of a party that people want to show up to. So I'm continually inspired the more and more I pull the threads on your story here, Slow AF.
Okay, let's continue to pull it then. What else you got for me?
All right, if you're starting over again, or for the people in this room who are just starting their community, maybe they don't see Gina in the corner swinging kettlebells, but they see Martinus at this event right here. Like, how would you like? What do you have for people who are just getting started, or who are like, I really want to do something. I really want to pull something together. I want to emulate what Martinus has done. What would you say to folks who are just getting started?
Oh man, I would think of this thing as like this, right? Like I said, you want to think about it as your party. What is your party about?
Hmm.
What's the thing that either we have this phrase like, what's the thing that makes your ass itch? Like, is that what the party gonna be about? Like, are we gonna come together and we gonna talk about this thing? You know, what do you want this party to be? So I think that's the first thing, right?
Hmm.
Second thing is thinking about the guest list, right? You cultivating this guest list, especially for your first round of people. Like, you want to cultivate this thing, right? Like, I was actually having a conversation with my wife about this today, right? Like, hosting this event, you got somebody, you got Auntie Gina and Uncle Jerome, they brothers and sisters, but they don't necessarily get along together. Like, so why would you sit them next to each other? Would you? I hope
No,
I hope the answer is no, right?
unless your party's about drama, then maybe.
Well, I think that's the second thing, right? Is that like, what is this? What is the people and the guest list that you're going to cultivate? So I
Yeah.
think that's the second thing, and I think the third thing is like, what's your flair? And a flair could be multiple things, right? For us, like our flair is this cute ass turtle and paisley, right? Like, what's your flair? It could be anything, but it's like, what's that thing that people going to know that's going to be a part of that, right? I think the fourth thing is create your own language,
Hmm.
right? You know, for us, like you're gonna get a turtle with a green heart, and you know what that means. That means turtle love. So, like, what's your own language when it comes to that?
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think those are the things that comes to mind when people ask me, "Hey, I think I want to start this thing. I want to start a community." Those are like the four things that kind of comes to mind.
Yeah. I love about the flair is I often this reminds me of Sally Hogshead, who has a quote about being different, and she says that different is better than better because different allows you to be who you are without having to become somebody else or something else. And I think that's like what you did here is like you were different. It wasn't just a run club. It was the Slow AF Run Club. It was different. It was like uniquely you. It was uniquely what you wanted it to be. And in that way, different was better than being the best run club because it was this particular run club. And I think that kind of flair is super, super important.
Yeah, big facts.
Okay, so how do you get out of your own head, Martinez?
Oh,
Because again, like the story that's coming up here is the all right, I got a minimum of 100 medals I got to order here. I only got 40 people in my community. Like, how did you like get out of your own head or build the courage to take the steps?
um,
So there's
I have a phrase, or there's this quote that I live by. I'm gonna butcher it, but I'm gonna try my best, right? And it's all about pain, right? Like, it's the pain not doing it greater than the pain if you actually did, right?
mm,
So it's like, it's the pain of failure falling in your face more, is it more than like actually trying and getting it done?
yeah,
And I think for me, like, those are the things that I kind of balance in my head and balance and out. And most of the time, like, the answer is no. Like, it's the pain, the pain of me actually getting started on something, like on this goal, more than like the pain that I'm feeling right now, sitting here in my head, in my thoughts, knowing that I have something to give to the world, but I'm not doing it.
This is low key. This just came to me. I've never said this or thought this before, Martinez.
Uh,
This is the low key importance of failing.
yeah,
Because like when you fail, you're in the midst of that pain and you're like, man, this sucks.
it is.
Like, you know what sucks? Pushing this mop across the floor and cleaning these toilets, it sucks. And in that moment, the pain of being in that spot was like so great in comparison to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to start this community instead. It's like the idea of starting that community probably felt really easy in comparison of like sitting in the midst of that failure, that pain. And I think that sometimes we avoid failure so much. And like, you get so much learning out of things not going the way that you thought they're supposed to. But B, it's like the pain of being in the midst of the failure is greater than the pain of maybe doing the new thing or the fear of the new thing. And I think that's such a low key thing that we forget is like at some point the pain of doing the thing has to be smaller than the pain of being in the midst of not doing the thing. And
Exactly.
failure is the great equalizer for all of that.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people just need to understand. It's like the pain you're going through now, like, yeah, it sucks. This shit sucks. But you know what hurts more? Still staying there. Like, why not try something different, right? Why not try something new? Because guess what? You can always go back to status quo.
Yeah.
You can always fall back in status quo. So, like, why not try something different? Why not
Right.
take that leap? Why not take that first step? And for
Yeah.
me, like, I that's what I do. Like, I know my superpower is providing psychological safety. Like, I
Yeah.
provide the psychological safety just for people to fail and then come back to me and say, you know what, that was hard, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
guess what? You did it. Don't
Did
that
it.
feel good? Yeah.
I
Don't
love
that
that.
feel better than standing in the same spot? Yeah. Well, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm afraid. But like, guess what? But you already did it though. So why are you afraid of something you already did?
Yeah. That's good. Somebody just asked the question, when you get to thousands and thousands of members in your community, how do you keep that feeling of personal, like it being personal or it being like the vibe and the culture that you want to set? Like what are some things that you think about or how do you do that when the community gets so large? You
Uh,
mentioned community managers, you
mhm.
mentioned things like that, but like tell me more, kind of drill into that a little bit more.
So I'm trying to talk in a way that it don't sound cliche, but also give y'all a little bit of the Martinus Evans secret sauce. And a part of the Martinez Evans secret sauce is this, right? I have an email autoresponder that goes out um, for every person that joins the Slow and Run Club. And it asks one simple question, you know, what what are you struggling with in running? Like, what's one thing that you're struggling with? And I even say in the email, like, I might not be able to respond to you, but I read each and every email. And what I do with these responses, and I get hundreds of them every day, sometimes even thousands of them, right? It's like I take this information, and sometimes, like I said, I can't respond to everybody, but every month I sit down and I write all of the like email newsletters, autoresponders, or whatever you want to call them, right? We got 3 of them that go out a week. In these emails, guess what I'm hitting? The things that people said they're struggling with.
Yeah.
So even if I can't necessarily shake their hand, even if I can't necessarily say like, hey, like I hear you, I respond to you. When they get that email responder, the way they feel is like, oh, this guy get it.
Yeah.
And not only do I know they get it, like this is not like blowing smoke up people's butt. Like when my email responder go off, like I have to like I have a whole nother email that I had to have that stuff go to because I'll get 150 email responses from an email that I send out. That's like, man, you were in my head. Dang, this is what I was thinking about. Yo, you keep it going.
And it sounds like magic, but it's just listening. It's just
It's just
empathy.
listening, right?
It's just
And,
listening. Yeah.
And that's what I said. I don't want to make it cliche, right? Like I'm trying to make sure I give y'all the most valuable ever. But like it's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you struggling with? Great. I might not really respond with you, but guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make sure I tackle what you're struggling with.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in my emails. It's gonna be in the post that I post about inside the community. It's gonna be the driving force that in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I have so many members, like I can kind of see a wave of like when they're struggling, how they're struggling, and at particular times. And that came from just the simple question: what are you
Yeah.
struggling?
Yeah. It's like, again, this is going to be a theme, I think, for this entire summit, Martinez, is empathy is a superpower
Yeah,
inside of business. And it's like,
empathy and vulnerability. This is
yeah, I agree. It's like, hey, you're inside of my head. And again, I'm not a mind reader. It's like you literally told me what you were struggling with or what questions you had.
yeah,
And we're like, if one person asks a question, we can assume that there's 10 more people who didn't have the courage to send that reply and ask that same question. And so if we're just answering the questions and we're just listening enough to hear where the common things are coming up, and we're just responding to that, we're hitting on that mark of like, I bet you weren't the only one during that pandemic who was like, dang, I'm so sad about these races being canceled. And you listened enough to be able to be like, cool, well, let's just do a race.
right. Like, and that was the thing. I was like, well, like it can't be that hard. Like, people buy race medals all the time. Like, it can't be that hard. Like, let me figure this out. And I think that's the thing, right? That's the superpower. That's the
Yeah.
secret sauce, y'all. I think a lot of y'all think like, well, I'm gonna build this course and I'm gonna teach people X, Y, Z, A, B, C, yada, yada, yada. If they don't want that shit. But what if you just ask them what y'all want and then just give it to them?
That is like, we could like close the summit down right now. It's like, that's it. That is business. It's like, what do you want?
What
And
do
let
you
me give
want?
it to you.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, we get in our head. And this is why, like, I'm kind of anti-guru. Like, of course, I spent my last $1,000 on that particular course, and I'm never going to forgive them about that. But when it's all said and done, it's just as simple as that. What are you struggling with? I can answer that. What do you want? Here you go. Boom. And I think
Right.
a lot of people, we get in our head and it's like, oh, I need to be
Yeah.
like this, or this one guru do it this way. I should do it this way. Oh, but this other guru do it this way. I should do it this way. No, do you? And it can just be as simple as that. You ain't got to be as animated as me, but those two simple things. What are you struggling with? I got you. Let's talk about it. And what do you want? Here you go. You'll have a successful community.
Yeah. I I completely agree. It does not, it means that you don't have to spend 10 years becoming an expert in something. It just means like you have to give, you have to care enough about people to
Yeah.
actually give a shit. And I think that's the real answer here. And that's the good news for everybody who doesn't have an audience, who wants to build a business online. It's also the good news for all of the good guys out there who are like, I don't want to become like the swarmy, sleazy salesperson. Great news. What are you struggling with? Here, I'm here with you. And what do you need? I'm going to help you get it. I think it's such a huge way. Another question that comes up for me here, Martinez, is like, how do you like persevere in the midst of the haters? Because like to me, this entire thing, it put a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, which I kind of love. It was a little bit of fuel for you. But like, I think that's a lot of fear of why people don't put themselves out in the world, is they're afraid that people are going to like critique them or tell them they shouldn't be doing it or tell them that they're slow AF and they shouldn't be running. But like, what's your mindset? How do you approach that? Or how do you approach the haters in a way that keeps you going versus halting you in your tracks?
Um, the haters are not in the arena. I'll say it again. The haters are not in the arena. What that means is that, when I was running that marathon, this hater was a spectator on the barricade, probably, didn't have a race bib on. I'm out there struggling, doing what I need to do, and he is spectator. And most of the times you're gonna find out that most of the haters are the people who are just spectating. They're not in the arena. they're not competing, because what you'll find out is that the people who are competing, who are actually doing the thing, A, they ain't got enough time to see what you're doing and talk crap about you. B, they know the hardship that goes on with being in an arena, so they're gonna actually cheer you on. And C, of course the haters gonna hate because they ain't got shit else to do because they guess what? Spectating.
Mhm.
I think those are the things that you really need to think about. The people who are talking crap, the people who are giving you hate, they're spectating. Because if they were actually doing something, they wouldn't have the time to actually be hating, looking over and hating on you. They'll be out there competing.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I had a mentor once tell me this piece of advice. He said, ninth graders don't make fun of third graders for being third graders. And so if you feel like you are worried about what people are going to say, I have never seen somebody from ahead look back and be like, what are they doing? It's usually people who are at the same level or below you that are making fun. And
Yeah.
it's like if your goal is to like go build something, go build a business for yourself, and you're worried about what people are going to say, you just have to remember it's not the people who are ahead of you that are going to be saying it. Because like I know ninth graders, they're not even thinking about third graders. They're off doing ninth grader stuff. They're not doing third grader stuff. Probably the second graders or other third graders who are saying that kind of stuff to you. And if you keep that in mind, man, it's like, what am I so worried about the people who aren't even playing this game talking to me about? Like, I'm just gonna go do my thing, and I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna graduate beyond from there.
Girl, my biggest troll that I love to do is that like when people hate on me in the comments, I'm like, oh man, you must be a Russian bot. Like you ain't got and I said like, oh man, you must be a Russian bot. Like you got all this time to be sitting on here hating on me, clocking all the things I'm doing. Hey, you must be a bot.
Yeah. All right, I got one more question for you. When you're getting started, having a 40,000 person community, it must have cost you lots of money. Must have cost you lots of time. You must have a huge team and all kinds of fancy tools. Like, if I'm just getting started, I want to get started. What kind of systems do I need to have in place to build a community in the same way that you did? Like, what resources, what tools do I need? What kind of budget do I need to have to get going?
Um, what I've been telling people, truthfully, need two things, right? You're gonna need your mighty networks, and um, and you're gonna need your merch kit. Like, you,
That's it.
that's it. And the reason I say that is that you're gonna need, in this age of social media, you're gonna need a place that you can gather people's emails and email them outside of their whatever social media platform. So that's one thing. And then you're gonna need your community that you can actually build. All the
Yep.
other stuff is arbitrary. Like
Yep.
social media is free, Facebook account is free, Instagram account is free, LinkedIn is free, but you don't need, your emails and your mighty network. And from
Mhm.
there, I would say build a lead magnet, just build up your the email list. Like that's one way to do it. Or the other thing is, as you building out this community, go find 10 people who's willing to give you $1,000 that's in a transition um, for the thing that you're trying to do. Have them pay you that $1,000 and y'all build and go through that transition together.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. And here's the good news. We've got an incredible offer for Mighty. It's $199 for your whole first year to get started. And you can get a
What?
kit account. You can get a kit account for absolutely free for your first, I think it's 10,000 subscribers. So you can get started for an entire year, free on kit, $199 to get started with Mighty Networks right now. That offer is right below this video. And so we want to make it really easy. Like if you want to get started, you got an idea like Martinus and you're inspired by his story, we want to make it super easy for you to jump over the hurdle of getting started. We don't want to make it hard for anybody. So really excited about Gina allowing me to put that offer out in the world so people can get started with their Mighty Network for just $199 for their whole first year. So Martinez, any final thoughts for folks who are wanting to get started and build something similar to the Slow AF Run Club? What's one last piece of advice you'd give, or
Um,
one last final thought you'd give to folks here?
and one last piece of advice that I want to give people is that um, this thing is easier than what you're making in your head. It can be done. It may look different from what I'm doing with Slow Life Run Club, and that's okay, but you can do it. And then the second thing is that I'm approachable. So if you need help, looking for help, reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Yep. It's amazing. Martinez, thanks again for your time today and for being so generous with your story and all the insight. I'm walking away inspired. It's like in the midst of all the hardship, you kind of just had a big win on the backside of it, and I'm going to keep that in mind the next time I'm complaining about something being hard in my life. Be like, wait, there might be something here that I can't see. So thanks for sharing your story about Slow AF Club and giving us your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man.